Dark skin, skin, cotton white. I know the road, it gets so rocky at times. I know the heartaches are severe. It seems like life will never change its tide, but there's an answer to all of life. Here's stay with God. In spite of what you see or feel, stay with God. In spite of how things may appear, stay with God. It doesn't matter what may come our way. There is only one place we are safe. Stay with God. I know the way you feel says give up now. I know you feel you can't hold on. You're not the only one who is carrying your load. Remember, he said to cast all your fears on him. No, you're crying, tell everyone you meet, because you feel that world is the pain. But if you just believe your life is in God's hands, then today I tell you your mountains have to disappear. Come on and stay with God. What you see or feel, stay up here. It doesn't matter what may come our way. So we are safe. Stay with God. Stay with.
Yes, yes. As the singer says, we have to stay with God. That's the only way you're going to be safe. You know, tonight we're going to have a packed program. We're going to be speaking to Tony Robinson, the president of the Basketball Association. The tournament is just finished. I think it's the team from Guadeloupe won that one.
Yeah, one of the teams from Guadeloupe.
One of the team from Guadeloupe won. We also will be speaking to the national football coach. Dominica didn't do very well in Dominican Republic, lost. We'll be speaking to the volleyball people. They just won some tournament in St. Kitts. And we have the Cricket Association president, first and second vice president to talk to us. Because, you know, guys, cricket is in the air. The West Indies have just announced their team. We saw some shocking, what some may call shocking non-selection. We don't know what the hell is going on. In fact, next week, we should have the director of cricket with us, Miles Bascom, and possibly the coach Darren Sammy. I think he gets to Barbados tonight because, you know, they started camp in Barbados on the weekend. And guys, I don't know if you all watch this tennis match. That's one of the greatest tennis matches I've seen in my life, Dr. Falk. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it, eh?
Oh, yes, Sebastian. I saw which one? Coco Golf?
The final.
Well, both games. But you know, this girl, Sabalenka, was not gracious in defeat at all. Did you hear what she said?
Well, that is all the news. That overshadowed Coco's win, you know. But
exactly.
that has been the only talk, really.
But Sebastian, a day after, it must be her coach, her staff itself. She came on air trying, you know, to the damaged country. The damaged country.
It was too late, though.
It was much too late.
Yeah. But you know, the Alcaraz game.
But before that, I found during the course of the game, she was very temperamental and immature.
You mean Coco Golf?
No.
Sabalenka.
Sabalenka.
Yeah.
No, she's a very arrogant person.
Yeah.
Arrogant.
It was to say that if it was Suarez, she would have beaten. I mean, that was so low, man. That girl is low.
But Sibo, what is interesting is in this. Before Roland Garrison, you had you had one in Rome where Kokogov beat Swiatek 6-1, 6-2 to get to the final. And Sabalenka beat her 7-5, 6-4. All right, and she lost in Geneva. But when I saw those two games, I said to myself, I'm expecting good thing from Coco. Now, Sibo, I'll tell you that the men final itself, as far as in terms of looking at the game, because I'm upset with Sina being present in that tournament. Sina was found wanting with drugs, and they only gave him 2 months. All right, they knew all along what was happening going on. 2 months they gave him. A lot of players were upset about that. Very upset. He had no business there in the final.
Well, you know, we have a caller. Hold on, Lobby. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. How do you do?
Marlene, where have you been? We haven't heard you. Are you okay?
I sick.
So are you better now? Are you better now?
No, I'm supposed to stay off from the radio for a little while.
Okay. So rest yourself, darling. You need to rest yourself.
Listen, that is why you wasn't hearing me. I heard Pastor Rodney, my darling Dudu, and I say that one take me. His wife's birthday. He said, I never know the wife is a Gemini like me. My birthday was on the 9th, which is the whole holiday. Lobby own was on the 10th. I send greetings for him and also from Sports Rap. Today is my darling, my half-brother, Honorable Julius Timothy on. So let me just take this opportunity with respect to all you. I don't want to disturb the program and say happy birthday to Dr. Sir Pastor Rodney, wife, very nice, loving, caring person. I met her once by we church, and that lady was shining. She was like a piece of diamond. You understand? So I want to say happy birthday to Pastor Rodney, wife, and I want to wish you all the best, because if I knew that this morning we would say happy birthday to her, like how we say birthday greetings to Timothy, I hope Michael Coppel and Blessing will call tonight and they sing. And let me just say happy birthday once again to the Honorable Julius Timothy. He has done a lot for Dominica. This is a man that should receive one of the highest awards for November. Right? He's my half-brother. He used to live in Hillsborough Street. Come home, everything is sister and brother. You know, my mother...
Okay, Marlene, we don't want... This is not a greeting program. So thank you. Before you go, your boy there, you're not saying greetings to him at all? How can you calling everybody else and you forget somebody else is there?
No. Who is that?
Who is that? Not Lobby. It's Lobby, you know?
Lobby.
It's Lobby?
Yeah, it's Lobby.
You forget who else is there? Oh, I see.
Orlando is a June Bonner.
No, but you calling everybody, but you forget what you say all used to do?
Just say good morning.
Good morning.
Good night. You forcing me. I love you. My mother used to tell us that. So, Landa, happy birthday. Oh, you're good day to you. Stay as handsome as you are. And happy birthday. Sibo, you one of the best fathers.
Okay, thank you. Marlene, thank you. Good night. Marlene, good night. Thank you. Marlene, good night. Marlene, good night. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Guys, what's your birthday? We just want to... Dr. Andre, today was his mother's 100th birthday. In fact, the party's still going on up the road. Nice 100th birthday. So we want to extend congratulations to Dr. Andre. Lenny, as you know, guys, you play football. Alan, Andre, all the boys. I mean, nice function. In fact, Dr. Function, you know, Gabriel came down for that function as well. Gabriel Christian is here as well. So, just want to say congratulations to the Andre family on the 100th birthday of his mother. And while we're there, good night, St. Davis. Lobby told me he had a nice conversation with you one of these days. St. Davis, good night. And we also want to wish one of our... He's always listening, Doddle. His wife died. We want to express condolences to him as well. So
yeah, and also I want to extend a blessed birthday to Julius Timothy. He is the sponsor of the program. I saw him early on today, and he looks very good. He looks very good. The head
Praise
is
God.
not there, but I wish him well.
And
Praise
we always
God.
want to say to Ozzy too. Ozzy always was a founder member of that program. We always want to say good night to Ozzy as well. But going back to Alcaraz, guy, that must go down as one of the greatest performances by any sportsman. To come down from 2 sets down at match point, 3 match points, he saved that. And even after that, he saved 3 again. And to come back and beat this guy, surely must go down as one of the greatest performances in sports history, not only in tennis.
Yeah, that was a very, very outstanding game for a 5-hour period. I take the point that Low Black made there about Sinner. But when you look at the quality of tennis over 5 hours, it was very competitive, very focused. 5 sets, over 5 hours for guys played for, and the quality of tennis was excellent.
We have a call on the line. Good night.
Hello, Sibo. Good night, and everybody.
Did you watch tennis? Good night, by the way.
Sibo,
You were watching, right? Huh?
Sibo, look again. If I watch that, both of them. See, they said, I said, Lobby. They said, Sibo, they said that is the second best final,
Yes.
in history.
Mm-hmm.
Sibo, boy, look again.
Mm-hmm. It surely was. It surely was. Yeah.
And remember, he said Nadal was his idol.
Yeah, surely was.
It's very good. But you see that Sinner there, I still have my little question. Anyway, the game gone. On 8 pass, and I am happy Carl won that game. But that was good. See, I was going up and down on my chair.
You were dancing too. I know you like dancing in the living room. You were dancing?
My God.
Okay.
And Coco and the other girl, Sabalenka. But remember, Sabalenka always had a kind of temperament, If you follow Sabalenka from years, she always used to get vexed and all that. After a while, she cooled down. She herself said because they spoke to her too. But she have always been that type of person. She cooled down a bit. So I enjoy my tennis to the fullest. Good evening.
Good evening. Alcaraz is the second youngest after the Unborger to reach 5 Grand Slams. Second youngest to reach 5 Grand Slams. And I remember making the point, in fact, Osio was there at the time, saying, he's 22 years. The next 10 years of Grand Slam, you have 40 Grand Slams. He could easily win half of them. Easily win half of them. Dr. Pumpkin.
But
no, I'm not saying that he could probably lose most of them as well. But now, 22 years, 10 by 4 is 40. If he wins half of them, he'll have 25.
Sibo, yes, I'm just laughing because if you look, it's possible. Nothing is impossible in sports. But if you look at tennis, like Dr. Fong, you look at tennis right now, you look at the men, the pool of men, they are fantastic good players. There are lots of players. So anything can happen because he himself, Alcaraz, he started with a bang and he was losing. He was not wrong. They said he was injured, his back. But if Sinner himself is still there, he's young as himself, he's about 22, 23. So lots of players, but coming back on Coco Sebastian, one of the things is that.
But before you go there, what about Djokovic? Do you think he's coming to the end of his career?
I am not. Well, I don't know.
Based on what you saw, the game you saw, he played against Sinner because Sinner dominated that game.
No, I know that because these guys are younger. I mean, these guys are. Let me tell you, these guys, Alcaraz and Sinner, they are. I don't know what they're taking, but they are very, very, very fast. They are. I tell you that. I have.
5 hours, man. That was excellent.
But because come back on Coco. See, one of the things that you have to understand is this with her. What I observed, looking at her, she has lessened her time on social media. Her staff, she has a staff which is very, very capable. She have improved. Well, this final, she had a very reliable serve. Her first serve played a vital role, and her athleticism is unbelievable. And what I think, she was, once she brings back that serve of Sabalenka, send her right, send her left, wear her down because she depends on too much on power. She has no finesse. All right. And I was very happy that Coco Gauff gave her that solid beating. Very happy.
We have another call on the line. Good evening. Hello. The call. Anyway, Dr. Fountain, before we take the break, last week you weren't there. You want to obviously you had some function. You want to tell us about your function last weekend, last Thursday? Because you weren't here in studio. Neither were you online. You were somewhere else.
Yes, Sibo, indeed. Last Thursday we had a kickoff for a series of town hall meetings that we are going to be having across the country. So we started off last Thursday in the Fonkole constituency. We are moving next week, Thursday. It will be every other week. So next week, Thursday, we will be in Wesley, actually in Woodfordale, in the village of Woodfordale, right next to Wesley. And then the week after that, we are going to go to Marigot. So we are doing a series of town hall meetings, and linked to that, we are also on the ground with the people. So we have the town hall starting at about 7. So during the course of the day, we spend the day in the constituency, meeting the people, inviting them out, and just talking to them about, the state of the politics in Dominica. And I thought last week was very, very, it was a good outing, and it just shows you that the people are hungry. A number of people are telling you they just want to vote. People say they're just ready. They so want to get rid of this administration. When is the vote? That's all they're asking. When are we going to vote? So, it's very encouraging. I think people have realized that this government is not going to be the way for the future for them. They're exhausted. They have reached the end of the rope, really, as a government, in terms of ideas, in terms of new ways to move the economy, to change the lives of the people. And it's great, because what it does is that it offers us in the opposition an opportunity to let the people know what we will do as a government. And that has been our focus. We are focusing on a 10-pillar plan that will restore prosperity to the people of Dominica, that will create jobs, that will increase the wages of the public servants, increase the wages of those earning the minimum wage, and so on. So it's a very exciting time as we continue to move around the country to reveal that plan to the people of Dominica, and it is catching on social media, but also on the ground as well.
Very well done. Very well.
Yeah, I want to make a very quick comment on the tennis. Given the quality of tennis that was exhibited on television, I hope that will inspire local authorities to establish the facilities once again in Dominica, so our young players can go out and exhibit their talent in tennis.
Well, they say they have to rip off the thing they did up there. They say public works, they made a macacui, so they have to fix it. That's what they said. So we will soon find out. Before we take the break, though, I just want to say Delnaji Sports Club again, the sports store, continues to help. I think they have this after-school support program, which is coordinated by Joe Faustin, and it's in its 8th year, and they'll be making a presentation tomorrow afternoon on the Newton Savannah to 8 needy students. They usually give exercise books and school bags and water bottles, and it's a wonderful program. Delnaji Sports Club tomorrow making a presentation on the Newton Savannah to students from the Newton Primary School, and Geoff is the coordinator, assisted by some teachers from the school. Well done, Vivian Rene, the owner of Delnaji, Geoff Faustin, and Angela Faustin. We take a break now.
Where in Roseau, Kimashabis, you can just walk in and order all your chicken parts, wholesale, and even enjoy retail. It's at AC Shillingford, all chicken parts available that you can afford. Fresh breast, and you know breast is best. Shillingford wings have muscle. After you eat it, you can fly. As for Shillingford chicken drumsticks, even swinging stars just order drumsticks from Shillingford. And for those of you who love pull, AC Shillingford keeps your belly full. Buy your chicken wholesale at AC Shillingford. From wings to thighs to drums to breasts to backs to necks, it's available. It's always available, and it's affordable. Plus, you've got pork feet, ham and turkey, bull foot, chicken nuggets, pepperoni, all those right seasonings to make your kitchen keep on ticking. Buy your wholesale chicken at AC Shillingford. When you think of chicken, think of AC Shillingford. Always fresh.
The New India Insurance Company has reopened its doors in Portsmouth, offering the same great services you get in Roseau: motor vehicle insurance, home and business owners, fire and related carriers, public liability, and so much more. Come, visit us today for insurance with a personal touch on Bay Street, Portsmouth. Or call us at 445-4023. We are ready to serve you. When you want the leg, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all compare. Shop at SCS. You get more for life. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What is that? Shop at SCS. SCS family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price is there. Madam, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Oh, yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Yes, we're back and we're going to be speaking to the national football coach, Mr. Sabin, because we're supposed to be speaking to Donnie Robinson, but we'll have to speak to him a little later. So we'll take the national coach now. Guys, did you all see the match, Dominica, the last match, guys? Dr. Fountain Lobby?
No, I didn't see it.
I see the game, but I saw the results. I saw the halftime score and then for 4-0 and then 5-0. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it myself because I was tuning in because, I watched the Jamaica game the same night, Jamaica and Guatemala, but I don't know what happened with the Dominica game. But the sim, I don't know. Well, his coach, we're going to have him now, so he'll tell us about what happened because I didn't see it. Ronald, did you see it at all?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you didn't see it at all.
I was searching wrong, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's such all about
so many other
games. But interesting enough, it was a game of two halves. I mean, the first half, the Dominican Republic destroyed them.
Okay.
But they came back very well in the second half.
What was the difference between the first half and the second half? Because I think they conceded 3 goals.
4 goals. 4-0.
And only 1 goal in the second half.
We get 5-0. 4 in the first half.
4 in the first half, yeah. So they came back. They came back relatively well, in the second half. But I mean,
tell us. But it could have been a situation where DR said that they won the game and they were taking it easy, fall off.
It's possible, and they could have brought on their other guys too. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. So they've qualified. In that group, certainly they have qualified.
Because 12 teams qualify for the next round, right? For the World Cup. I think Trinidad, Jamaica. Mexico qualified automatically, right? For the next World Cup.
Yes, Mexico, US, and Canada.
Yes, Austin, yeah. No, there was a lot of discussion about games being a lot of social media talk about games not continuing.
Okay, Doc, we have Doctor. We'll get back to that. We have Mr. Sabin on the line. Let's take him. Good night, Coach.
Good night, Mr. Sebastian.
Okay, the full panel is there. Dr. Fountain, myself, Lobby, Ronald. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Dominica played 1 in Dominica, 3-0. Lost 5-0 in Dominican Republic. What went wrong, Coach?
I wouldn't say anything went wrong per se, but the game plan is worked out as we thought it would. As we know, the Dominican Republic team is a far superior team. The Dominican Republic team we faced on Tuesday evening is a much stronger team than the one we faced in Antigua. Because, like we know, they're playing for Mexico on Saturday. They're playing against Mexico on Saturday in the World Cup. So prior to the game, myself and Nico had a discussion. They actually came expecting to pass 10.
They expecting to what?
To pass 10 goals.
To score 10 goals.
Yeah. And the coach said anything less than 10 would be below par. So in his view, we did okay. The Dominican Republic fans, even after the game, got updated us because the information was passed on. But it's just the way we played in the second half was how we were supposed to play the entire game. For whatever reason, we were caught off guard in the first half. Managed to concede four goals through some errors. And really and truly, you were just halftime was just fixing what happened in the first half and trying to have a better second half.
Well, before you came in, Dr. Fontaine and Landa was saying it was a game already 2 halves. In the first half, 4 goals were scored and only 1 in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I mean, the game plan was actually how we played in the second half. That was how we played the game. I'm not sure what really went wrong. Probably, like, in sports science, players generally revert to what they know under pressure. So I guess the early goal kind of triggered an onset of, things off pass. But then again, we came up against formidable opponents with some real professional players, and really and truly the players tried their best. We didn't lie down and play dead. Any other team probably would have gone play dead and maybe got another 4 in the second half, but as you saw, the second half performance was much improved from the first half, and we corrected our errors, only managed to concede 1 goal, I think somewhere in the 89th for that minute. But other than that, the second half was a different story from the first half.
Let me ask you, Coach, I noticed Travis Joseph was the captain. Explain that. Like, I think wasn't Brian Thomas normally the guy who would captain if Glenson Prince wasn't there? What happened there?
Well, yeah, he actually passed on the baton to Travis. He said, he feel like, Travis.
When he passed on the baton, who he?
Well, I'm Brian Thomas. We offered him this thing, and he said, "No, let Travis captain. He has no issue with that." So
no, but I have an issue with that, because if you are the coach, a player cannot say, "Give so and so the captaincy." I've never heard that in sport. I mean, I play cricket.
No, but at the same time, I cannot force the player to be the captain.
I understand that, but the player cannot decide who must be the captain. I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
No. What I say, he said that okay, for example, I told him, as the vice captain, you are next in line. I mean, we really don't want it, and he recommended a few players. Travis Joseph being one, Eustace Marshall. Because really and truly, the team only has 4 senior players in the absence of Glenson Prince. Real Thomas, Travis Joseph, Eustace Marshall, and Javid George. So, I mean, in descendancy is Glenson Prince, Real Thomas, Travis Joseph, Eustace Marshall, and Javid George. So naturally, the person would be Travis Joseph. So we just handed him the captaincy for the game.
Yes. In the first half, it looked like Dominican Republic dominated. In the second half,
it didn't look like that's what it was.
They dominated.
It didn't look like that's what it was.
In the second half, they only scored 1 goal. Did we get some opportunities at goal scoring in the second half?
We got a few chances in the second half. Again, seasons in the attacking field kind of don't our attack, because I mean some balls just simple passes to slip the attacker through, and we choose to carry and this kind of thing. But then again, it's individual players' error. So I really don't want to dwell on individual players' error. As a team, we played better in the second half. We only conceded 1 goal, like I said, through probably a lapse in communication or concentration. And that's really what I want to dwell on, as opposed to individual. Like, first half, the team played bad, we conceded 4 goals. The second half, we played better, we conceded 1.
So, Coach, can you speak to the physicality of the game in terms of how physical the Dominican Republic players were compared to our guys? And did that factor in?
Just like in the Barbados friendly, I always tell players, when females are in the middle of the field, you tend to, I won't tell you the exact words I use, but when females are in the middle of the field, they tend to allow the game to play a lot more physical, a lot harder. So looking for a foul from a female official is like, boy, trying to get a teardrop from the ocean. You will not get a foul like that, because I mean, we clearly look at the game, I look at the replays. There were chances where even the tackle on Troy Jules, for me as a former official, is a penalty, but she's a woman. Once again, she's playing or officiating in a game where the call will be against the home team. So you do expect her to call those things. So even those things you tell, but I mean, that those things are expected of female official will not, or even a male official will not call a penalty so early in a game. One, and two, a female official generally tends to have the game or allow the game to play on, and really will call a foul or an infringement if it's something serious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead,
Yeah, that's a quick
Okay,
follow-up.
sorry.
It's interesting that you mention that, because in the game against the BVI, I noticed a hesitation on the part of the referee to blow some very obvious, and I was wondering what was going on there. Even in Dominica, I remember, in fact, I think it was the second goal that was scored. She allowed the play. I don't think she allowed the play to go on when really she should not have. Is that it was intercepted and they were able to come back. So, but it's a very interesting point that you raised. I thought the rules were the same whether or not it's a male or female referee, but it does appear as if
the funny thing about officiating and based on laws, everything that IFAB brings out to you is always in the discretion of the official. And if you look at all the rules of the game, always at the discretion of the official, a foul, a card, anything is at the discretion of the official. So really and truly is about looking at patterns, and over the years, as a coach, I've realized that female officials generally don't call fouls. You have something that's really serious has to happen for a female official to call a foul, whereas men on the other hand will call nearly everything. So that is something. Just like player pattern, you have to look at the official pattern, and that is something that we have realized over the years that happens.
Interesting.
Coach Sabin, well, I want to ask you something personal. Your contract, from what I understand, seems to be coming to an end. What next for you? Are you going to reapply for the job, or are you in the thoughts of the association? Tell us, what's next for you?
Well, despite the information that was brought through, where person said that after June the position will be open. Yes, I will apply. I never make things easy for people. I will apply, and I will. Up to you to renew my contract or not. I don't make it where I don't apply and you say, okay, well, we only replace him because he didn't apply. So I will apply, and the decision is yours. But based on track record, I'm not seeing why there should be a non-renewal of contract, in that the team only lost games versus superior opponents like the Dominican Republic, Bermuda, Jamaica by a narrow margin, and Guatemala. The other teams that around the Caribbean and so on, we generally perform well in them or joining them. So a non-renewal of contract really and truly would raise some eyebrows. So really and truly, I will apply. I not see any reason why I shouldn't apply. The performance thus far has been, decent, not perfect, but it has been. And what most of us don't realize, the average age of this senior men's national team is 24.
Mm-hmm.
The two oldest players on the team probably about somewhere between 28 and 30 years, if my memory serves me right. Some of the players as young as 18.
How long have you been in coach? How long have you been in coach? Coach, how long have you been in the position?
That position?
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years. And when does it come to an end? When exactly? June?
It comes to an end, yes, this month.
Okay. But have you had discussions with the executive members to know what direction they want to go?
As we speak, no.
No. So they haven't mentioned anything to you?
Not as yet.
Okay.
Apart from the information that came over the media, the statement the president made, I have in that to that effect.
But are you confident that you feel you can still continue and do a good job as the national coach?
Why not? You only as good as your performance as a coach, and looking at the performances that we have put out thus far, I don't see really and truly don't see any reason why not. But at the end of it, the decision is on mine. But like I said, I will apply.
So when next does the national team play, though?
Well, the next tournament is next year. Next year, September, should be CONCACAF Nations League. Probably we'll have 2 friendlies before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about the DFA, if they still decide to go along that route, requesting tenders from coaches, which I will apply, and then we will see what goes on from there.
Well, there shouldn't be any haste then to appoint a coach now, seeing that the team doesn't play till next year. No haste, really.
Well, no.
Yeah, go ahead, Lobby.
Yes, I just want to make a few comments there on, in general, on the Dominica. The coach said in terms of it looking like when we meet this more experienced teams, we are just not competitive. We are not competitive when we meet this top team. I think going forward with Dominica football right now, I'm looking at other football, looking at the teams playing, professional fouls, how we win balls, how we move in terms of our movement of the ball, with the ball. A lot of work has to be done. I think, all due respect to Sabin, but I think if going forward right now, we need to get somebody from there. There must be a change. There must be a change right now from the helm in Dominica if we have to be competitive. Because you're looking at in terms of the Windward Islands, the Leeward Islands. All right, we want to go into deeper into CONCACAF for the future. Yes, we have a young team. But I think right now, looking at with teams, because the Dominican Republic, they have improved compared to when I saw them 3 years ago. They have improved. Right, we are not improving at all. I am hoping that with this guy they have from Europe, a lot of work has to be done at the junior level for junior players in terms of tactics of the game, which we are lacking a lot. We are lacking, and I think there's just work to be done. It's obvious that the Dominican Republic came out. First of all, that in terms of going forward, they had to start with a serious purpose to create damage control early. So once that damage control was done, that was it. Okay, but going forward, to all due respect to the coach right now, I think is that we have to look forward right now, going forward. Try to improve on our youth football. The youth is very, very important to improve. Looking at the quality players we have now. Your first touch on a lot of work has to be done technically, tactically. All right, and these things can only be corrected at the youth level. Your youth is that's what you do. That is very important. The academies, they need a lot of help. The other who we can. I'm hoping that this guy who is there is doing that, helping the young players technically, tactically, and to go forward in terms of to meet these bigger teams like Costa Rica, USA, Mexico, Jamaica, Trinidad, Guatemala. We have to do. That is what we have to get. And to get there, we have to improve on the football. I hear about brand. You know what, brand? We have to improve on the football to going forward.
Well, I beg to differ with you, Mr. Loblack. You say that we need to be competitive. If you look at the second half of the game, we were competitive. If you look at the Dominica versus Jamaica game, we were competitive. So a change in regime, really and truly, and to be quite frank and honest and direct, and based on what you're saying, you kind of gain or take in the direction of a foreign coach. If a foreign coach comes here, the issues or the points you raise, first touch and directional touch and all these things, the foreign coach will not come here to try and develop that. It's either he's here or he will seek alternative or external players that have those kind of abilities where when this happens, the national team will really lose identity. Meaning you will have very few local players getting the chance and the opportunity to represent their country, and it may just very well be totally or 90% foreign based, national team that in that sense, because foreign coach really and truly will not come there and try and develop a player's first touch or his understanding of the game or this kind of thing. And is kind of thing that you spoke to the FIFA coach, because he had a few instances where he came to watch his session and he told me, the things that he's seen that I'm working on is not something that a national team coach should be working on, because a national team coach should be result oriented and not trying to fix first touches, decision making, attention to detail and those kind of things. So sometimes we asking for certain things, but when we get those things, it may create some waves that we're not prepared for.
Yes, coach. Yes, coach. The final observation is that you would have identified certain deficiencies in our football. And as I spoke to you on previous programs, I spoke about the midfield and the forwards. Let's assume that you are renominated or re-elected as the coach. Will there be coaching programs for the coaches of the various teams or clubs to assist them in developing and dealing with those deficiencies?
Well, I really and truly, I welcome that point. I understand your point. I really and truly believe the Dominica senior men national team or any senior men national team, like we constantly say on this program, is as good as it's the league. And I feel there should be a holistic approach to this thing and not just point fingers at one individual or the 7 persons responsible for coaching the Dominica senior men national team. Because it should be a community thing where the community coaches work on certain things. Whereas also it should also be association thing where they make the environment and make the necessary equipment and so on available for these clubs and so on to work on this kind of players. Because if we do not do that, then it will be going in circles because we'll be having this discussion over and over where, okay, why are coach working on the first touch? Why are you working on this? Why are you working on that? But if a player already comes in with that, comes in with the necessary fitness, comes in with the necessary basic, understanding, comes in with the necessary things like first touch, tactical understanding, those kind of things, then it makes your job as the coach easier because really and truly, the Dominican Republic coach probably has his team for about 3 weeks maximum because the players come from all kind of professional settings where he doesn't have to work on these things. All you have to tell them is, Mr. Loblack, I need to do X, Y, and Z. Mr. Sebastian, this, that, and that. Mr. So, that, and that. And then it just works because everybody comes in with their basic skill set. And this is where we need to be, where we develop some kind of environment within the clubs that all the coaches and so on are on par with the national team where, okay, this is what we're looking for in a player playing right back, centre back, left back, striking, midfield. Okay, the national team now has a deficiency where we're probably missing a creative or an attacking midfielder. Okay, as clubs, and we develop X, Y, and Z to fill that position. So it kind of makes it up easier. Whereas us as the coaching staff of the senior men national team, really and truly, I don't say it is impossible, but the time allowed is tight to create what it is you're really looking for in individuals. Because you have to spend time more or less dealing with the team as a collective. But the individual approach is something I feel that should be undertaken by the clubs, by the community, so that when they come to the national team, you just have to fine-tune. I need this, I need that from you. Okay, you're doing this, but I need that to improve. And I think that is where we need to go as a country. I think we look in too much as the senior national team as only the 7 or 8 persons on the coaching staff. This is a team that represents the country. And everybody in the country, whether you be a coach, a community person, should take ownership of the national team and say, hey, I see this player here. How can we develop him? And go to the community coach. Hey, this player, I think he can make the national team, but he's lacking in X, Y, and Z. This is the opportunity to take. It's not a thing where players come to the national team and, we expect the coaching staff to, for lack of a better term, work miracles. The players should, even they are individual players. Okay, I am not strong in this area. Let me work on that for every time I go by club training. Even those things, so that it will make the job of the staff easier. Because the staff really truly has a short time frame. You really want to develop person, you want to develop everybody. But does the time afford it to you as the coaching staff? Do you have that time to develop individual persons every time you come to a session?
Okay, Coach Sabin, I just want to say thank you. You have always been willing to join us. I hope you're not lost to Dominica football. I hope good sense will prevail. As you said, you're always willing to assist. So I hope we'll be speaking to you every now and then. So I just want to say thank you because you're always willing to join us. Thank you so much.
No problem. You're welcome.
All right,
have a blessed night.
Yeah, we guys, I don't know if people out there, because we just getting some information from the West Coast that there's some radio station riding Q95 frequency. So if other areas in the island have that problem, please let us know. But down in the West Coast, they're saying they hardly can hear us because some other radio stations seem to be riding us. So I just spoke to the technician. I hope that thing is sorted out. Okay, guys. Well, guys, we just had the national coach, and we hope Dominica don't play till next year, Dr. Fontaine. So we hope that.
Yeah, but you know, you have to feel for the coach. I mean, sometimes we criticize, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at our first division games, I mean, there's nothing to write about. I played in games, that were of a higher level than what I see in our first division. So the fact that as a coach, he has to be thinking of correcting individuals on first touches, directional play, and so on. I mean.
I agree with you, Dr.
I really feel for him. And it's what you have. Is it, I think what we need to do, and I agree with you, Lobby, we need to focus more on developing the local league. Guys need to be playing more football. The training, the coaching must be at the school level, so that the basic things, you shouldn't be teaching guys basic control and so on when you're ready in a team.
I agree.
Dr. Fontaine, I mean, I have been involved with the national teams, junior, senior teams. Now, that coach, don't forget, he was with the team from Portsmouth. Don't forget that, before he became national coach. And that's what I have identified here. This is a recurring, that's like a recurring decimal. I've said already, I look at the league. I said recently that the coach...
Let me hold that thought, because we'll come back to that. We have with us on the line the president of the Basketball Association, Donnie Robinson. Good night, Donnie. Good night.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Right, the whole crew is here, as you know. So we need you to tell us. I mean, Guadeloupe won the competition on Monday evening?
Yes, correct.
Right, so you need to tell listeners, I know the two Dominican teams were playing for third and fourth place, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, well, tell listeners, you have to give us the information. So, let's tell us.
So the tournament wrapped up on Monday evening with the GGB club from Guadeloupe emerging the only undefeated team in the tournament. They won the tournament. They beat the Ravens from Guyana in the finals on Monday night. The two Dominican teams played the first game, and Blazers, the defending champion, won that game. So Blazers came third, and the 767 Sports Club came fourth. So that wrapped up the club version of the Creole basketball. I think from a basketball standpoint, it was a good competition in terms of the quality of the game, quality of games played. A bit disappointed in the crowd turnout overall. There were one or two nights that the crowd was good, but overall, I think we could have been better in terms of attendance. But from a basketball standpoint, it's a very good tournament, very high level basketball, and I think it can only help us to improve and help the young players to see what to aspire for as we go along with the league that's upcoming.
Well, as the coach of the Blazers team, I'm sure you would probably sit down with your players and where you all went wrong and discuss that. I have a discussion on that, right?
For sure. We do a post-mortem and obviously learn from it as we go, for sure.
What about the scores for the games? The scores.
The games were, as I said, the games were really high. All the games were, the lowest scoring game was a 60-something point game in the first night of the first game. But most of the games were in the 80s and the high 70s and 90s. We even had one game that got close to 100. So the games were very competitive, with the exception of one game where we had a margin of over 20, I think, in one of the games between Guyana and the second Guadeloupe team. But apart from that, the games, most of it, I would say 90% of the games were well within 10-point range. So it was a good competition, well played competition.
I generally would say from what I saw, the level of basketball was fairly reasonable. Although in some instances I saw too many turnovers and not enough creativity to get players in the paint. And also everybody felt that they were 3-point specialists and everybody was taking 3 points. But generally I found that the basketball was very entertaining. However, the refereeing I found was deficient. There were a lot of queries by players, by the benches, by the people coming to look at basketball. And in some instances, the reaction of the referees was not up to mark. There was a certain situation where a player actually tried to deal with a referee. And I didn't like that situation where his approach was assaulting the referee.
Technical.
And I didn't like that situation at all. And players need to contain themselves. Notwithstanding, I found generally the basketball was of a reasonable standard. The area of my major concern was for the quality of basketball, 2 games every night for $5, the patronage, the people coming out to see the basketball was generally poor.
Yeah, so that was one of my points as well, Mr. I think at the end of the day, we do our best to make sure we put out a good product, and I think that tournament was a good example of that. But we still fall short in terms of the public support, and the onus is on us to continue to deliver a good product through, but to also market the game and try to make it a lot more attractive to get people to come out. The days when basketball, just naming basketball, would get the pack full. I think we've gone past those days. We have to make it a lot more attractive now and get creative in how we get people to come. It's a little disappointing, but one of my philosophies, we have to start somewhere. And I think now that we've had 2 free tournaments on our belt and the public knows that it's happening, the quality of basketball is getting better, we can only build from that. But yeah, it was a little disappointing in the crowd.
Well, there is an entity called Creole Sports International that manages those competitions. Where is it based? And who are the executives of that particular committee?
The Creole part of it is run by a guy called Marvin. He's based in Guadeloupe. He's a guy of Dominican heritage, but he lives in Guadeloupe. And he's the CEO of that organization. Works closely with Jerry and Maggie and Wadix and those guys who put on the Creole version of basketball. He's also a member of the GGB Sports Club, so that helps keep that part of it running. But I think what we have to do as well from the local armies is get a lot more creative in terms of our level of interaction with the fans and getting the public to understand that a big part of it is a local product. And once we can continue to do that, I think it can only get better. Our league is coming up. Our league starts next week, and the onus is on us to make sure that the awareness is hyped and the quality of basketball continues to improve.
What is the future of that competition? Because I noticed that we were in the Northern Conference. Are there any additional games to come? Are teams qualifying for other games?
Well, so last year it was the first year. It was the entire tournament was held. The competition was held in Dominica. It was 6 teams and it was only 6 teams. So it was one conference, one league tournament, and that tournament we came second. This year, because of the level of participation, it had to be divided into 3 different conferences. So you have something like 16 or 18 teams, and it's divided into zones. So Dominica leg was just one conference, and then there'll be another leg in Martinique, and then the final leg in Guadeloupe. So you will end up having more teams participate. It's going to be an annual event, and we will always have a conference leg being played in Dominica at some point every year.
So who qualifies from the Dominica competition? Only GGB?
Yes, just the winner of the competition qualifies. Then the winner of every conference qualifies along with the defending champion. So you'll have 4 teams playing at the Creole Kings Cup in August in Guadeloupe.
Okay, well, Donnie, what next for basketball though? Before you let you go, what next?
Yeah, so we plan to kick off our National League next weekend, which is actually all this build-up was part of getting the hype and getting players in some kind of preseason shape. So our full season is scheduled to start on Saturday. Next Saturday, we will be just finish finalizing the date. So we'll be putting up schedules, and we're hoping to have a really competitive league this year. We'll have the Division 1 and the Premier League and the women's version. And a lot more basketball we played this year. The Premier League will have 2 full rounds, so we'll have teams playing something like 14 games as opposed to 6 or 7 or 8 games this year, and all in the efforts to have the quality of basketball elevated by playing more competitive games. Not just pick up basketball. So this season, that's it, and and we are definitely going to bring some games out to the district that will be part of the fixtures, and try to incorporate some 3x3 and female tournaments in between. So we're planning to run initially for 3 months, 3.5 months ish, and hopefully by then we can prepare a national team for regional tournaments.
Yes, Tony, time is of essence there, but would like you to give us your informed opinion on the NBA, Thunder and Pacers.
Well, last week when we spoke, I kind of, my opinion hasn't changed much. I still believe it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series, and based on last night, it's definitely going to be at least 6 games. In my opinion, I don't think Thunder is going to go away. But it's amazing how when Roby spoke about what was impossible last week, it's impossible to stop and impossible to do this. And then you see when coaches go out and they do their strategic plans and they come back and both teams actually look as similar as they can in the finals. And it just came down to one team executing better last night. Last night was a typical scrappy game. It was just energy from the Pacers. Everybody on the Pacers played. I mean, Pacers has 9 players averaging double figures, 9 players averaging 14 minutes, and they all playing and playing well. And they had a bench advantage last night. Now, unless Thunder can come back and match that energy, I really don't see how 4 or 5 players can outdo these 9 or 10 guys every night. The challenge, obviously, is for Pacers to keep up that energy. But I really feel it's going to 6 or 7 and closer hinting towards Pacers winning this, because they are taking the best of Thunder punches, even at home. So I would not be surprised if Pacers pull it out in 6 or 7.
Thank you, Donny. Tomorrow night, 8:30, we'll see what happened in game number 4. We'll see if tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Thank you. We'll talk to you again. Thank you very much.
Anytime, gentlemen.
Right, thanks.
Thank you, Donny. Thank you very much.
We're going to take a small ad break now, and then we're going to speak in volleyball right after that. What's your name, sir? So what commission is that you are on?
Your property, protect your property. You homeowner and businessman, protect your property, insure your property. Can't wait for the hurricane, can't wait till you flood again, can't wait. If your roof fly out and all your business coming out. Remember, no insurance company will insure your property when a storm is approaching. Get ahead of the hurricane season. Insure with a company who gives you the assurance of payment for your valid claim. Come speak with us today at the New India Assurance Company Limited, upstairs AC Shillingford and Company Limited, 24 King George Street, Roseau. Bring along an up-to-date valuation from a qualified engineer and get insured today. Looking for a quiet, relaxing place to stay? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Leaving the office late and need somewhere close to town? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Have business clients coming in and need accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Looking for group accommodation? Call Porter's Place Guest House. Located at 37 Goodwill Road in Portersville, upstairs ACS Supermarket. Enjoy our semi-self-contained rooms with private washroom, bathroom, Wi-Fi, air condition, cable network, mini refrigerator, all in a non-smoking environment. Call or WhatsApp at 1767-275-1899 or email us at info@portersplaceguesthouse.com to make your reservations. Porter's Place, your home away from home. Fit for a king, a queen, and all their royal subjects. When you want the what you do? Shop at SDA. Better than the rest. Go shop at SDA. And the husband well. Shop at SDA. You get more for what is there? Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Yeah. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. What is there? Shop at SDA. Yes, family, customer friendly, with free locations, it's so convenient, and our price is Madam, that's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SDA. Tell your son Shop at SDN. Auntie and cousin friend, open power, all of them. My grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Shop at SDN. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Okay, we are now going to talk about some volleyball. With us tonight, we've got the PRO of the Volleyball Association, Mr. John, and we also got Mr. Mingo, who participated in a competition recently, the Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association tournament, and that was held in St. Kitts. Interestingly, the team of Mervyn Mingo and Bill Frederick have won the competition for 2 years consecutively. Our ladies also played fairly well. Alicia Booley and Joan Pascal, they got bronze. Tonight with us, we've got young Mingo and young John.
No, it's not Mingo, it's Frederick.
Young Frederick. Bill Frederick. Bill Frederick is here with us tonight, and John, and they're going to share with us some of the experiences.
Well, not too long, man.
Frederick, from the participation, especially that you repeated the performance of the previous time. Frederick.
Well, congratulations. We have to say that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Well, it was a very good tournament. Me and my partner played fairly well out of our usual game. We trained very hard for this. As we speak, I've just came out training because we have moved on. Winning this tournament has qualified us to the Under-21 World Championship qualifiers. So we'll be going to Dominican Republic on the 3rd of July to move to further.
Yourself and
Mingo, yeah, my partner.
Okay. All right.
And the girls also qualified a chance because they came out third. So the top 3 in this tournament, they got a chance to go to Dominican Republic to qualify for the actual World Championships Under-21 in Mexico.
So you and the guy, the association chose you all, or you and him work together as a partnership, you and the other guy?
Well, in 2023, there was the first Under-21 championship in St. Kitts as well. But they chose us because we've been playing since young, and they realized that we have the most potential to play on the beach, because on the beach there's like different fundamentals that the court doesn't have. So they saw us and they saw the potential, so they chose us, and we represented in 2023, where we got bronze in that tournament as our first tournament as a duo.
You spoke about a future tournament. Is that the Nausicaa World Championship qualifying tournament?
Yes, sir.
And it's going to be held where?
In Dominican Republic, 1 Julio.
Dominican Republic, on what date?
July 3rd.
Okay, so you're preparing for that.
Yes, sir.
Who's your coach?
Right now is Ray Robinson and Jan Flora.
Okay, very congratulations to Ray Robinson and Jan Flora. We seem to be doing very well in the doubles. Do we call it doubles?
Yeah, you can call it that.
Because two players, we're doing very well back to back. And I read some of the reviews, and you're highly rated. They're outstanding reviews of your performances, and you're highly rated. The way you beat St. Lucia.
Yeah.
A lot was spoken about that, In terms of future development for you and the girls, what areas of future development do you see?
Well, we see all of us we're getting better. Hopefully, we'll get a lot better to the point where most of us will be able to play pro, because, as I said, me and my partner, we are very good. A lot of people compliment us for being that good at our age, that we are that kind of level. So hopefully we see all of us, hopefully might make it pro, but let's bring us.
But with the doubles now, will we see a full complement of a volleyball team participating in a regional competition very soon?
Well, beach volleyball does.
Well, I guess the PRO can answer that. We have the PRO right there as well.
Yes. So I think it's important to note that the under-21 teams, because of their finishing position, also qualified the under-18s to the under-18 World Championship qualifier. So the under-18 teams, we just came from the beach where we had a trial session for them. They will be participating in World Championship qualifiers the week after the under-21s.
In Dominican Republic?
In Dominican Republic as well. In addition to that, we have ECVA Final 4. That's an indoor senior men's competition coming up in September. So because
where will that one be?
That will be in Antigua. So because we finished in the top 4 last year, we have qualified for another tournament, and the winner of that tournament will go to the Continental Championships.
But what's happening? I hear TPI, you said we go here, then over here. Why aren't we playing in Dominican?
Well, recently there was, I believe, the last women's under-23 tournament was held in Dominica.
Okay.
Yes. So the tournaments generally are rotated between the islands.
You guys have any questions, Dr. Fountain Lobby?
Yeah, but it's very impressive to see young people excelling in those tournaments. And I want to encourage you all to apply yourself, listen to your coaches, put in the extra effort in training so you can further develop yourself.
Yes, Dr. Fountain.
Yes, sure. Again, I just wanted to say, congratulations to them. In fact, I took a double take when I first saw it on social media because I was not aware that we even had players to that level. And I guess my question to either of them is how widespread is the sport in Dominica? Is it something that is catching on?
It's always popular in Dominica.
Well, volleyball right now is a grand sport in Dominica. There's a lot of young people engaging in this sport right now. Beach volleyball is on it's on a ladder. It's getting there because, as I said, beach volleyball is it has different fundamentals. So like everyone strays away from the beach because it's a little harder than indoor and court. Where court has 6 people, whereas the beach has 2.
I think we have a caller. Good evening.
See, I want to ask a little question.
Go right ahead.
When they came back, were they recognized? Were they welcome at the airport? I'm just asking.
Well, they'll answer that.
Welcome at the airport, the ministers, something like that.
Well, they're right there. They're going to answer you. Well, we have the PRO. We can answer that.
So, unfortunately, that wasn't the case for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being that we had trouble getting back because of the airlines. So I think Bill's flight was 5 hours delayed about that. Yeah, and I didn't get back until a day later than I was supposed to because I was there.
So the 2 players didn't come together?
They came together, but it was very delayed.
Yeah, but okay, they arrived, but nobody has congratulated them or anything in the ministry.
So arrangements were being made for them to come, for there to be a welcome party. But again, because of the extended delay, we were not sure when they would come and if they would even come that night. Okay. So
yeah, we brought you all here because I recognize the importance of what the young people have done in volleyball. Is there a means the sports division, the Ministry of Sports, organizing a recognition of that level of success?
So there are plans to have one this week. Originally, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but because of on our training schedule, as we had to get back to training right away, and in terms of dealing with the under-18s, we had to postpone until next week. But you should be hearing something pretty soon in terms of recognition.
Even from the ministry?
It's a collective effort.
Okay. Go ahead, Lobby.
Yes. First of all, I just want to congratulate this young man, I know that, first of all, where do you all train? The first thing, where do you all train?
Miro at Miro Beach.
Okay, the Miro, I know. Okay, Miro Beach. I know the difficulty with sand. It's not easy on sand. It's just not easy to practice on sand. A lot of hard work. I know in terms of beach volleyball has grown exponentially over the years. It's getting very, very popular. And it's not easy, but I wish it. First of all, in the Dominican Republic, what are the teams, what are the countries that are going to be there?
Okay, the countries that are going to be there are United States, Canada, Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Canada. I said Canada. And then the 3 that qualified this tournament, which is us, Dominica, St. Lucia, and Grenada. And I think 3 from Kosovo also, which is they haven't had their tournament yet, but that's supposed to be either Jamaica, Trinidad,
Bahamas,
Barbados, those teams.
Well, let me ask you, the competition like that, aren't you allowed to carry somebody? What if somebody gets injured? One of you 2 guys gets injured.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
I'm wondering. So that's it. You wouldn't have been able to take part again.
No.
Somebody gets injured. Okay.
Are you all will be in a zone, in a group?
Yeah, they should be putting us in groups pretty soon in head of the tournament.
Oh, you'll know what group you're in. You don't know yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
And you say 12 countries taking part.
Yes.
So that's a big tournament. How long tournament goes for?
It's 3 days.
3 days. Okay.
Yeah, 3 days.
Well, all the best going forward.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's very good. I want to recognize a pioneer of volleyball in Dominica, Gildan Richards. And because time is of essence now, I would like the PRO to tell us something about the local league, moving forward, the local league.
So the local league is in full swing. We had game 1 of the semifinals already. Game 2 for all of the divisions will be this Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, we have in the Division 2, Sunrise versus the R&D Academy. In the women's division, we have Celtics versus Aces. And in the Division 1, we have Sunrise versus R&D Academy again. And on Sunday, we have Club 1 versus Breakers in the Division 2, Club 1 versus Sunrise in women, and Club 1 versus Young Vets in Division 1.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Congratulations.
When you come back, we want you to come with the trophy and come right back here and tell the public what you have done. And I hope the official will recognize you. So thank you very much. As soon as you get back, PRO will be wanting you to come back. So all the best, guys.
Thank you, sir.
And congratulations again.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, keep going. Guys, it's nice to have young men who can do people.
Fine at that level.
Yeah, it's nice that
Yeah, no, that's quite impressive. Very, very impressive.
Oh yes, Dr. Fountain. Yeah, young guy, and as he said, the training just came from training. He said, just came from training. So it's nice that I hope it's not too late for the official to do something. We have a caller.
And it's good. It's an Olympic sport, so it's something to aspire to.
Yeah, he's saying that. He said that.
Let's take this caller. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Yes, my brother, I wanted to catch these fellas, but they end up running out.
Yeah, well, they're not running now. They had to go, you see.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask if, the officials themselves cannot really assist them. Because even that they can pick on their own to go right now. The truth, I think something can set up to have a little tournament, Miro, because Miro always have action, and every Sunday. So now they're going to have a little tournament there with whoever they can get, and then they will be recognized. Then the people now will get used to that, and then their support will be there. That is why calling on those that are in charge of the Winter Park. Let it go. Let it go. Stop taking the grounds for festival. Let's block the gates by the Winter Park side, and we put in 2 nice stands. So nothing not going outside there. Everything on the inside, the passing bathroom area. And we have a basketball court there already, so they can utilize properly basketball, netball.
Okay, boss, we have to cut off. Sorry about that, because we have to move on. And thank you. But careful when you say blocking before somebody come and arrest you. Careful when you talk about blocking business, because they might come and pick you up. You understand? Watch your language. Let's take this last caller before we have some high-powered guys there in there. So, good evening, caller. Hello. Next caller, good evening.
Yes, Sibo, good evening, and good evening to the rest of your panel.
Yes, good evening.
I believe either the Ministry of Sports or the Ministry of Finance should give the young people a monetary contribution, some kind of incentive, because you know how difficult things are in Dominica. And when young people go out and they excel like that, I think they deserve every commendation that we can give them, because when they do bad, we criticize them. I want to congratulate the young men, and hope the Ministry of Finance or whoever it is do something for them. Give them some monetary contribution.
Well, they're hearing you, so I couldn't agree with you more. Anyhow, they're hearing you. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, guys, cricket is hot in the air now, so we have some high-powered men in the studio. And another call again. Good evening. Hello.
Hi, good evening, Sibo.
Good evening.
And Lobby and Ranch and the rest of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with football, I need to talk about the football because
Speak a little louder. Okay, let me tell you that. What we'll do, probably because we're gonna switch sports now to cricket. So probably a little later you can call us because our guests are now in the studio, if you don't mind. Okay, a little late before we close on tonight, okay? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, we have with us the president of the Cricket Association, Windward Islands, the first vice president, and the second vice president. Cricket is in the air, and most people would have heard the West Indies announce their team, and the 2 Dominicans have been left out. A lot of people on social media, a lot of people seem to be upset, and maybe there are questions we will ask them while we're in the program. But we first want to deal with the T10 competition, which is supposed to start next month. We understood they had a meeting with the Prime Minister, so we're going to ask them straight question. Mr. President, whatever happened with that meeting?
Good night, Sibo. Good night, listeners. Good night to the illustrious panel.
Dr. Fountain is here.
Dr. Fountain and Lobby. Good evening to you. Good evening to listeners here and abroad. It's always a pleasure being on the sports wrap with you, Sibo.
Okay. Yeah.
So we had the meeting as I had already pointed out that when we got to that particular bottleneck, we decided as a board it was pressing that we have an audience with the Prime Minister. He did afford us that opportunity where we were able to discuss our concerns and ask for consideration for the Dream 11 project. He indicated that he would get back to the contractor and have a discussion if there was the possibility that he would intervene and ensure that it is done. But if there was a cost limitation, then we would not be able to proceed, because it is of paramount importance for him that the independence celebration would be under the lights, to paraphrase what he said. And subsequent to that, later the evening, we were told that the contractor is unable to meet our request, and as such, we have to look for alternatives. We met as a board, and we decided, in the best interest of Cricket Association, it is a tough decision that we had to take to cancel this year's 7th edition of the Dream 11.
So you're saying to people in Dominica now that the 7th edition is cancelled?
It's cancelled.
But the point is, you all had a draft last month, right?
Yes.
So you would have had a draft based on the permission you would have gotten to have the competition.
From the stadium committee.
Right. So the stadium committee gave you the permission. You had the draft. You had a lot of foreign people. In fact, you had some big guys, Andre Fletcher and other people. Sonny Lambert is going to play. And then people come now. But to me, that's a lack of planning, eh? Because if you give people permission just last month to tell them no, you can't play again. I mean, that has repercussion. I mean, Dream 11 is a big competition.
Yeah.
How does that impact you all going down the road?
Well, just to add on to that, normally the planning starts as early as, once we're having it during the summertime. The planning starts just after Carnival. We know the second vice president and his Carnival.
So you're right there.
As soon as Carnival is done, then he immerses himself into doing all the designs. And I was talking to the first vice president, and I was saying, Jamie, in all of that, I really feeling really bad for Liam, because all the designs, all the communication with the suppliers, that is up his alley. So we know the amount of effort that has to go into getting what we see, especially when it comes to the optics. That's where he's very strong at. So so we start from February, and then throughout late March, he reminded me to contact the stadium manager to have the discussions with Dream 11 tournament for the use of the stadium. And in early April, we instructed the secretary to get it formalized with the stadium. We got the approval, and then a verbal approval, and then they returned with a new form, because the stadium board had just gone through their own meetings, and they realized they wanted to do some changes in the stadium, which were visible. And we went on to full in that application. They said the application was noted, and we continued as discussed. So with that being done, we then signed the contract with the company in early May.
Mm-hmm.
So the contract was signed, locking in the dates, locking in some of the contractual obligations, and we were moving steady ahead. We had the uniforms, we had everything set up. It's just to now just have them in production and get them in Dominica at least 3 weeks before the tournament commences. And we were well ahead on this one for sure.
But obviously, you sign a contract with Dream 11, you're going to be losing money. Have the authority, after giving permission, now that they've told you can have, are you all going to be compensated? Because you need the funds to run cricket in Dominica, right?
Exactly. That is where we are at, and we are hoping that we'll get a favorable response in that regard. And a verbal agreement can be
it's acceptable
in a court. So
yes, yeah.
we're not saying that that is the medium that would have to go, but I'm certain that the government is quite aware of the serious pressure that they have placed the association. But we in turn cannot say that it's not an important infrastructure that they're putting up.
Everybody
recognize that.
I mean,
so
for sure.
Sometimes you find yourself gaslighted by people saying, "Oh, well, it's the light we need, and what all you want to stop the light." That's not the case. I think we are quite aware that one of the most who stands to benefit the most from that is the Cricket Association, because we can do much more. If we can do so much with the little that we have, far less if we have the lights. So we're not taking that position. We were just asking that it could coexist, because in the previous contract, while the contractor was operating, we had a Dream 11 tournament going on, while there were certain areas that were cordoned off. There were certain things that we as DCA had to take on to build over some of the works that were being done, so that for the safety of our players and for the overall aesthetics around the ground. So it's not like it will be the first time we'll be going for that, but for some reason this time it's not possible because of a different contractor, and we can only hope that the project comes to fruition and that we can continue in December trying to have a new one.
Liam probably can answer that. All the players who were contracted now for the Dream 11, what happens now?
Well, good night to everybody. So, well, basically what happens now, everybody's at a loss in terms of what they would have, I guess, planned to earn at the end of the summer, because we no longer tied, seeing that the tournament is cancelled, so there's nobody going to be earning any revenue. And I mean, one of the sad things, Sunil, who is one of the newer players coming on, he messaged me this afternoon expressing his disappointment. The first tournament that Andre Fletcher has decided to come because of the cricketing schedule. And we just believe that this one, with some of the players, Kadi Marlin and some of the bigger, this one, I would say that we have the bigger names involved, and all of the players, and not only the players, there's so many stakeholders who stand to lose from that, even the gate attendants, the runners, the caterers. There's so many people who are going to miss out on funding for, maybe a little summer vacation or something like that. So it's not really, just the players. I mean, the players, yes, are maybe some of the highest earners, but the numbers, they're over 100 and something people who are going to lose out on a 2-week gig for the summer.
But the thing that if the players had to sign contracts, right?
They didn't sign.
They didn't sign it. Okay, because I was just saying, if they sign, and who's going to refund them? I mean, somebody have to pay them. If you sign a contract and you just tell suddenly that you can't play again, somebody would have to pay.
What happened when we got wind of the talk about Portsmouth, we put a hold on basically everything, because we saw that we were going to be to be losing double in that we may ask the manufacturers to produce uniforms, and then we would be on the end having to pay for something that we cannot even use. So we had to put a stop on the production of the uniforms, because they come from 3 different manufacturers. We had to put a stop on the production of balls, but that we will use for other leagues as well. So there's a lot of things that we had to put a stop, because we didn't have confirmation, and we didn't want to make the decision that would have affected us greater from a financial sense.
Now, I heard Oscar George saying, and well, it's on the record, that he wanted the tournament in Portsmouth, it's closer to his home, and blah, blah, blah. Tell listeners why the tournament couldn't be held in Portsmouth. People would want to know, because the minister was publicly saying they should play it in Portsmouth.
The honest opinion, if I have to list the amount of reasons why it cannot be held in Portsmouth, I don't think you'll have another guest on the program tonight. And I'm just going to go with the basics. You look at the ground is an open ground, and Dream 11 is a betting tournament. So there's no way that DCA was going to control the crowds to prevent anybody from illegal betting. And whilst we had that, somebody may say, how does that affect us? At the last edition, we had the police getting involved in terms of 2 Trinidad nationals and as well as some ladies working at a reputable company involved in possible illegal betting. So considering all those factors, the safety of the equipment, I mean, as we say, Portsmouth is an open ground. We're talking about we do not have the facilities for the players and match officials area. So that means we'd have to erect tents basically all around the ground. There is no gate receipts that we would have received. Even some of the players and managers would have said that once it is going to Portsmouth, they would have to pull out because when they get time off, they cannot leave Portsmouth and get back to work anytime that they're given. So they said that they wouldn't be able to go to Portsmouth. Even some of the sponsors themselves were saying that they are not too sure. They are holding back basically when they heard the minister made that statement about Portsmouth. So a lot of people who I would say in their own right, because Shanice has also about the experts. So those who speak and they don't know what's at stake would just be making, why we can't play in Portsmouth. The drainage at Portsmouth is extremely poor. So that affects, and somebody may ask, how does that affect, the tournament? When games are rained off with Dream 11, there's a financial repercussion that happens to the association because they are not able to bet because there was no match being played. So the last edition, if persons would have noticed, each team had to play 10 games compared to the previous one where we had 8 games, but we had so many games rained off. So that was a financial hit on the last edition for the DCA. Going to Portsmouth in the hurricane season, I mean, only a dummy would say they're going to take that chance, considering the fact that we already going to be at a loss, and then there could be further losses if we have rain, which will interrupt. And there's so many other things that we can point to in terms of the commentators need a separate area for the scorers, because when they communicate from India, they need to have clear path and clear communication without noise. So there's so many things that were at play when the decision we didn't really consider it because honestly it couldn't really be done.
Well, you see, people are saying crazy things without they even know what's going on. In terms of the local sponsors you all had, what happens with that now?
Well, Jamie will take over after on that, but it not only for us as the DCA, but even for some of the teams. So this afternoon, most of the managers, after we contacted them, they would have responded and said that, basically they themselves are not too sure what to do, because some teams would have already made arrangements for accommodation. Some teams would have already received funds that they would have started spending to prepare for their production. So what the best advice and the only advice I could have given them at the time was basically to keep in contact, because there was nothing, and there's nothing that DCA can do to assist, or there's nothing that DCA can say that will cushion the blow on their team. So we're just hoping that there is not too much financial fallout, not only from the teams, but even from persons who would have wanted to purchase extra uniforms and all of that. So it's just a major loss, and I'm not saying it's a loss for the Cricket Association. I think it's a Dominica loss.
Yeah. I think this is poor condition management by the powers that be. However, how does that affect your relationship with Dream 11?
Well, Jimmy can go ahead.
Well, Jimmy, tell people your position in the association.
Good night, everybody. I'm the first vice president. Glad to be in the company of everyone on the panel tonight. Let me just say a warm welcome to the listeners here and abroad. This week has been quite a disappointing week for cricket on a whole. So we have the news of the Dream 11 being cancelled, but I always believe in life that in every negative, I choose to see the positive side of it. So we had discussions with Dream 11 in terms of our relationship. So we ironed out certain things in terms of moving forward, what may be affected. But Dream 11 is, disappointed that the tournament could not be carried out. But it doesn't really directly affect our relationship moving forward, because the production for the first 6 editions of the Dominica Dream 11 tournament has been so good. So everybody was looking for the 7th one. So the relationship continues in a good stead. But I would like to add that with that, we still cannot take it for granted that this loss on the Dominican public, as the second vice president said, is very recur in terms of like a domino effect, because we as the DCA are 9 members, right? We could not have the tournament, which was hurtful for us in terms of running our financial gains and so forth, to send teams to the tournaments overseas. However, the 84 players, at least 60 something locals and their families are directly affected, because everybody was expecting that 2-week tournament to get their financial gain or to get their exposure to cricket, because we know the financial rewards in cricket nowadays. So that opportunity was taken for them. So that is just recurring. So the number of people that are affected is very great. So I guess we just have to take it and move forward and look for the positive.
You guys, Dr. Fountain, Lobby, any questions? You're hearing that? Your mic.
Sorry, Sebastian. Sorry, Sebastian. It's just I'm listening. I'm very, 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 very sad.
Hold on, hold on, Lobby. Look like we have a caller. Let's send the caller. Hold on. Good evening.
Sibo,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask a question.
Go right away. Right ahead.
When I ask questions, Sibo, for me to learn,
No problem.
I'm never too old to
Okay.
learn. So that's
Right.
why I'm asking the question. I want to ask, first of all, you're having that T10?
T10, yeah.
Every whatever you're having that. I want to ask, the past T10s you had, the minister, had he ever come to watch any games? I'm just asking.
Well, they're right there, they can answer that. I can answer for them. Well, okay, stay on the line, let them answer that one, and you'll ask a follow-up. Stay on the line, let them answer that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were instances that, yes, that he came to look at the games.
Okay. Now I heard him on the radio talking about Portsmouth. Now you all said why Portsmouth, you can't use Portsmouth. Now did he discuss that before he mentioned Portsmouth, so you all could tell him, the pros and the cons? I'm just asking.
No is this one.
So no coordination, he's just going and he's talking about Portsmouth.
well,
I'm just talking because
I guess
he
gave his opinion.
If I don't know about something, see, I have to ask.
I agree with you.
So if you don't know what it entails, and see, before you talk about Portsmouth, you should speak to you all. Before you go and talking about Portsmouth, because the way you spoke about Portsmouth, myself when I listen, I say, okay, Portsmouth will be good. But then I hear another story. So there was no coordination. How long is that tournament?
2 weeks, man.
And that 2 weeks will affect everything? The lighting and so I'm just asking.
That's the same question I'm asking as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead, guys. Any question from you guys?
Yes, Sebastian. The question I want to ask the panel there, when they were planning for 2025 and they heard about the lighting, were they positive that this tournament would have gone on?
Well, they would not have heard about the lighting lobby. That only suddenly came up. Surely, in fact, it also the presidency, Liam, just after Carnival, they started planning. So they would not have known. Nobody mentioned anything, really. Yeah. Because lobby, they gave them permission. They had a draft last month. So hence the reason why they had the draft, because obviously they were given permission. And then suddenly you hear somebody comes up and say they get how many million from the Lotto or whatever to do that. So go ahead again, Lobby.
Yes, I think, Sebastian, I just can't understand that. Seriously, I'm just positive. I just can't understand that. Why must sports suffer in this country? Why? Why?
Well, I can answer that. Look at, hold on, Lobby. We have hold on, Dr. Fountain. You come just now. Good evening.
Yes, Theo. We missed out on a major international tournament because of the lighting at the Windsor Park. Can you remember what how long was that?
Last year, the World Cup. We lost
last year.
Yeah.
Last year. Now that gentleman was given some money to light up the Windsor Park, which he could not. He said he was able to do it, but he blamed government. Sorry.
You mean the first contract? You're referring to the first contractor, right?
The first guy, the Canoville
guy. Canoville, right, yeah.
Yes, who was supposed to light up the tournament. So between that time and now, the government could not have gotten somebody or that same company get now to install the lights before that T10 come on. Did they have sufficient time? Well, and then my second question is, after 25 years in office, the government couldn't identify one other ground in Dominica where that they could have bring up to international standard so that won't happen. If we cannot play in Windsor Park, then we could play in that other ground.
You know what?
After 25 years.
Well, I heard even Oscar George say Portsmouth Benjamin Park is an international ground. A ground that hardly has a dressing room, no dressing room, no side, but he said you can play international cricket there. That's what he said, Oscar George. Yeah.
And as the second vice president or whatever position is there isn't anything. We know Portsmouth, there is a swampy area. There is below sea level. They should have done something to bring Portsmouth to international standard or some other place in Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
And the minister, as the caller before me said, he's in coordinate with the association of it, and on the radio talking nonsense, making people believe that Portsmouth is up to standard and trying to put the blame on the association. Good evening, gentlemen.
Dr. Fontaine, you were making a point.
Yeah, Sibo, I'm just so deeply disappointed, and good evening to the guys from the association, because I'm here thinking, couldn't they just pause for 2 weeks to allow the competition to go ahead?
I think they're in a hurry to get it ready for independence. That's why. Anyway, go ahead.
Independence is in November.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Independence is in November. 5 months from today. I don't get it, Sibo, honestly, and it's just, this lack of commitment to our sports is really depressing. And I really feel, for the association, for Clemo and the other guys, because having gone that far and not being able to follow through because of that is another embarrassment to the country. And I feel like, that's the only way I can describe it, as a huge embarrassment, and especially considering the lives that have been impacted, the livelihoods and the persons who are lining up to play and all of that. And, it's just truly, truly unfortunate.
Yeah, we have another caller. Let's hear what he's saying, because some people seem to be enjoying this topic. Yeah. Yes, let's move on.
Just one thing to what Dr. Fontaine said. For the record's sake, the DCA did not ask the government of Dominica to pause or to stop the project while it was going on, because we understand the importance of the lighting. What we were hoping that we could coexist as we would have done before. So just for clarity's sake, nobody, no member of the DCA or nobody from DCA was against the lighting, or we did ask for the project to be stopped or paused. We wanted to exhaust all options that could coexist.
But this is the 7th time you're running the tournament. Have you changed the time period of running the tournament?
Yeah, there have been different dates. So the tournament is not set. It is when the Dream 11 slots are available, then we choose which slot is not suited, which slot that we can get, because every country gets to choose their slot.
Good evening. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, my brother, I just want to make 2 fast points here. I want to call on the Minister of Finance, to distribute a little more money, more in the institutions of sportsmen, because when I hear the little boys and men and the ghetto youth and them fighting to make it on their own, and I hear, those big men, they're just always saying it on the other side, coming and talk about how great sports is and how much it is, and the average man coming and talk about what he needs and what for us to do. And I tell you, where to stop that. And I'm starting to get vexed about sports in Dominica. Although anybody that's in charge will boss invest a little money in that sportsman, because we have the most talented set of young men, and all you do is crippling them. And what I vexed about, you give them to go and smoke marijuana anywhere. And you're not giving.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, guys, let us switch gears now. We heard the West Indies team. Kevin Hodge and Alec have been left out. From an association point of view, obviously you will be disappointed. Clement, you're a member of the director of the West Indies board. Have the association asked, what I would say to you, why the selector, when people are left out, we would speak to them, let them know why they were left out and what they're supposed to do. Have you all been told, or you got any communication why these guys were left out and what they're supposed to be doing?
No, I haven't.
No, okay. Because I know that when I was selected, we'll do that. If we leave out somebody, especially the person who was playing for a little while, and we'll tell them what they're supposed to do and so on.
The players have received the communication why they were dropped.
Okay.
We do not have the direct reasons as to the internal planning, but in my discussion, particularly with Alec, he did say that they communicated to him, and I'm sure with Kavem as well, because that I think once you are selected or not selected, then whoever, I guess, director of cricket or the coach will call and give you the reasons why. But so Alec was spoken to.
But did they tell them what they're supposed to do? Obviously, these are young men. Alec will only be 27 in December. What they're supposed to be doing to try to get back in the team? Did they give them any program which they're supposed to follow or anything like that?
The discussions were not that deep with the two of them, considering the fact that somebody just got dropped. Have to be kind of careful how you maneuver in for it. But as I said, I don't know if the way forward was given to them, but I know for a fact the reasons for the omission was given.
You know, some of the things are a bit strange. I myself, well, I can say here publicly, the director of cricket will be on this program next week. Tomorrow I'll be speaking to the coach to see who will join in, so people can have both of them here next week. So I can say on air now that Miles Bascom, the Cricket West Indies director of cricket, will be on from 7 o'clock next week. I'll be speaking to Darren Sammy tomorrow. He's in Barbados, came from England, so he will say if he'll join as well. But I mean, you ask yourself, in terms of Kavem Hodge, he scored the most runs by any West Indian Test cricketer last year. You pick 16 people and you don't pick him. And I just find that very, very strange, honestly. Very, very strange.
And additionally, he was nominated by the West Indies Cricket Board and the West Indies Players Association as one of the test players for this year.
Well, it would be embarrassing for them if he gets that award. Let's say it's called. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I listen. You hear me? Hello?
We're listening to you. Go ahead. Make your point, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I listened to Mason and Jeff, and Mike Baston was the guest. But the amount of criticism we get from the Barbadian public, especially one guy called, and he said he doesn't see no reason for dropping the two Dominicans, especially one man had over a century in England. That is hard. And then he putting men like King and Louis, and using these two young guys. I mean, the guy that I think he got enough criticism about that from, and some of the big public take that hard. Thank you.
Yes, on social media, there seems to be a lot of support for these guys. I mean, because when you look, Brendan King is selected. He's 30 years now. You see, he will be selected to make his debut, and one wonders what's happening, honestly. A lot of strange things are happening.
Who's on the selection panel?
After this call, I'll say you. Good evening.
See, well, that's my last question.
No, you can ask. No, you don't have to be allowed. If you want to ask all night, you can go ahead.
Association. First of all, who selects the cricketers to play?
Which one? The West Indies team?
Yes.
Well, the coach is the main selector. He has the biggest say, Darren Sutton.
One man, Sibo?
Well, yes, the coach. They can answer that.
Well, I want to ask the Cricket Association if they'll find out from Sammy why you said the cricketers have the reason. But as an association, I think you all should find out from him why they were left out. And another thing I want to say tonight, I hope Dominica Cricket Association, you all wouldn't sit down there and allow them to do Kavem Hodge as they did Irvin Shillingford, may his soul rest in peace. Please, speak up for our Dominican players. Please. Thank you.
Yes.
Sibo. Yes, Sebastian. I think 2 weeks ago you alluded to the fact that you heard from the grapevine that they will look in terms of the omission of Hodge that is batting too slow. Now,
well, that one criticism, yes, that is a fact.
Yes, now. I had to laugh about too slow. We have been losing right now with too many aggressive players. You need somebody to stabilize the batting.
Yeah, but
we have been losing. We have been losing. Guys throw in their hands. Guys, everybody want to whoop swaps. You need a stabilizer. All right. And to me, it was not fear, just not fear, to drop Hodge or even Afanaz. Look at Brathwaite.
Lobby, I just wanted to point out as well. You brought out a good point. I have to be very
diplomatic,
cautious. Yeah, diplomatic in my responses. But if you batting too slow and the test match ends in 3 days, I wonder is it slow or if you batting too fast?
But you see, the problem is, you hear this nonsense about brand. We want to play a particular brand of cricket. If you have Vivian Richards, Brian Lara, Gary Sobers, you can play a particular brand because these people can adjust. But you can't be talking about a brand and you don't have the players to do it. It is foolishness. And you just rightly said matches might end up, and I just worried. You watch what's happening today and yesterday, and you worry about how many of our batsmen will be able to handle that kind of bowling. And it's just a nonsense about the brand we want to play. We want to get so much growth and all this kind of foolishness. I just
you know, I wonder if that's not a case of Darren Sammy getting too powerful in West Indies cricket.
True.
Because these are the same guys who just a few weeks ago were interviewing Da Silva to be captain and they not select him on the team. All right. And then when you think about it, dropping your 2 top scorers in the past year, you know, without any rhyme, and bringing in persons who, quite frankly, it's almost like they forced Campbell into the team. Almost like, you know, I know you have 4 openers, right? 4 openers.
Well, I don't think Brendan King will be used.
No, but he's a natural opener. He's a natural opener.
Well, to be fair, he's really not a natural opener. When I know he played for Jamaica and for the
that's number 4.
He bats in the middle order. Even when I was a selector, if I remember, he scored 196 against Leeward Islands, batting at number 4.
Okay, so we have 3 openers and 3.5 openers. But the point is,
Dr.
you know,
we'll take you, Dr. Go,
you know, and I think it is really vexing. I see absolutely no reason why these 2 individuals. Alec also scored a 60-something, top scored in the match there, you know, against South Africa. So I honestly don't see the reason why these individuals were dropped. And Sammy, I cannot wait for Sammy to get there next week. I hope he accepts the invitation.
Well, I'll speak to him tomorrow.
They had questions because we have to ask those questions, you know. And
I have questions. I haven't answered my phone, but to be fair, I will not, and I cannot say it in public. If I speak to somebody in confidence, there's no way.
I understand that. So bring him so he can answer to us. We need him to answer publicly to us.
Right.
You know,
let them answer, but I will not disclose what they said.
It almost seems to me is a continuing saga where Dominica is concerned.
True.
You know, the way they have treated our players over the years, it's just continuing.
Hold on. We have a call on the line. Good night. Hello?
Sibo.
Yes?
Yes, Sibo. Protocol has already been established. And as Dr. Fontaine said, it is really a vexing issue. And I want to call on the members of the association here in studio with you that they should not sit down idly by and let what happened to Irvin, as the previous caller said, happen to Hodge and Asanas. We should take it up. And let me give your listeners this score. Hodge scored 516 runs. Asanas scored 488 runs. The next best to them was Brathwaite, 372. Yet all the others are on the team, and Hodge and Asanas have been left out. And they cannot say it's because of their non-performance in our local competition. If that was the case, Da Silva should have been on the team. Da Silva scored 3 centuries and runs, and he's not on the team. So it's not because of their performance in our local league. They are the 2 leading run scorers in Test last year, and I cannot see any reason why they should not have been on the team. So please, Mr. Masler and your team, please take it up. Please take it up. We cannot just sit idly by and then let them walk over Dominicans like that. Thank you very much.
You know, guys, the West Indies ball said openly, like spoke to other people, even directors, Mastendo, and I tell them to fail in the Caribbean people. Because the thing is that you drop players when they fail. You know there are people on the board who are there for over 20, 30 years, and they all the time make. No, that's a fact. That is a fact. You have people, some of them never play cricket at all, sit down around the table talking foolishness, don't know what's going on, and they're dropping people all over the place, and they themselves still there. And that kind of nonsense that goes on. Another caller. Good evening. Hold on. You make a comment. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, I actually, this thing sounds so comical, man.
Oh, hey, how are you, man? Good night. What's up?
I hope, Sebastian, when you talk to Sammy, you not talk to him as Donald Trump, but spoken to the Russian leader.
Like to tear down the wall?
You see, you cannot tell me the guys have been doing pretty well. But I think they had the act for Artanas in Pakistan. Some Jamaican guy said, that it see me, unless his cause is due for the job. But it just can't be right. I mean, for West Indies cricket to come to Sammy as the main selector, one selector of Test cricket.
That's what obtains now.
How is West Indies going to be back in glory days with that kind of arrangement?
Good point.
I mean, this thing is nonsensical.
It is.
And I don't know, talking brand shit. I mean, the people you have in the cricket today. I mean, look at what has happened, and then he makes a statement. He's sorry Puran left. Because it means other people might do. I wish Artanas and Hodge were up to scratch to go to IPL to make their money. Because it seems to me that is what is on in West Indies cricket today. But I mean, these fellas can't be playing the Royal and give one man and a whole set of them, some fellas just fighting to be on executive and not producing nothing for the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I mean, cricket has been such a big thing keeping the region as one unit. All of a sudden, for you to come to a situation where West Indies is virtually unknown in terms of cricket.
Yes, caller. Nice comment. You were going to make a point, Clement.
Yes, I was saying just a slight little correction there. When you sit at the boardroom, it's not the discussion of who gets selected on the team. You see the selection is being done, and the team can be noted, and the recommendations for vice captain and captain is approved. So it's not a case where the directors can immerse themselves into issues of selection.
Well, I don't know that. But the point I'm making is that you have this thing, and then you still have people who just sit there just to be on the board, make no contribution to cricket. It's foolishness. The same way you drop players and so on. I know, when I was a selector, I know when the team is said board members cannot, unless it's a disciplinary matter.
Yes.
No player can
be removed.
You can ask people, but you can't remove players. You can't, I know that. But the point is, and Dr. Fountain made a point about De Silva. Here was De Silva, he went to Pakistan as the vice captain. He didn't play. He came back, okay, he said, well, listen, boy, let me go and work on. He made recently. He was the second highest scorer, 627 runs in this year's the competition. You pick an A team, they played 5 matches, The guy didn't get a game. So it tells you what sort of decision taking. You put him as the vice captain. The same people that were there now, they put him as the vice. So he comes back and then you don't dump him. So you try to understand what are they doing. Let's say this caller. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Sibo.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. All you talking about Irving Shillingford, but before Irving Shillingford, didn't Grayson Shillingford take the blows before Irving Shillingford under Sobers?
Yep.
Well,
yeah. When he played the cricket in England, and Sobers said, that little Islander cannot take no wicket in the cold. How many wickets Grayson Shillingford take and surprise him? And he dropped Grayson. Have a good night.
Good night. Guys, I don't remember the time, but the thing I want to say, obviously there's a tournament next month, so I am sure the association need to get the more cricket. Kavem and Ali can play better for them. So I'm hoping that you all will get them into the team, training with the Dominican team to get them ready for the tournament, right?
Yeah, the guys had already reached out, indicating, well, trying to figure out the windows so that they make themselves available
for the tournament.
Yeah, and Kevin and Alec are two humble young guys who really stay in connection with everybody and remain grounded. So I'm certain with the work ethics that they have, and knowing where they should be at this point, I am certain that they will come in and really indicate what has been missed. And that's all.
One thing people must get carried away, and we must be real. I heard people say they did well. To be fair, they didn't do well. They did better than others. That's all I want to say. Because you see people get carried away, and okay, Calvin's got the most from yes, but we mustn't keep saying they did well. Because if you only averaging 29 40, you didn't do well, but you did better than the others. So the same way the others should get selected, you could get selected.
Yeah, Mikel is averaging 19.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So we mustn't get carried away when people did well. What I would say, they did better than the others. That's what I would say. Because
I agree with you, Sibo, because
we have to be real with that.
I was having a discussion with another director, and I'm saying that we cannot judge our players based on our standards and expect them to be international or world beaters.
True.
We have to judge them at the highest standard.
I agree.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
This is something that we have to look into as well.
We want them to do better. So though we mustn't go saying they did well. That is not a good comment. And so every guy, I wish we could be there all night.
Yeah, let me make a quick comment there. I have noticed in the recent past, there has been some inconsistencies in the performance of Hodge and Afanaz. And I've been repeatedly asking for technical and mental support of these players. What are we going to do to give those players the critical support they require so they can reinstate themselves in the West Indies?
Well, they heard you. I'm sure they will discuss that. As I said, next week, we for sure, Miles Bat's coming to confirm for next week. I will speak to Darren Sammy tomorrow and see how we can get that. Guys, we're sorry that the Premier 11 is not taking place. Ministers talking out to the foolishness all over the place. And on behalf of Dr. Fontaine, Ronald Landa, Emmanuel Loblack, I want to say good night to everybody. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for having us.
Right, thanks. That time fly, everybody.